Is this thing on? Oh. What's up, guys? So most of you know me. My name's Dan. Um, so we'll start. I want to pray before I start. So, Lord, I just that you bless Ground Zero tonight, Lord. Thank you for Mike and the guys for having me speak and giving me the opportunity. He's been bugging me for a couple months now to come do this, and Lord, I just lift this night up to you, and in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So yeah, I'm Dan, for those of you who don't know me. So I grew up around here in Sayreville, New Jersey. That's like 10 minutes up Route 9, a little north of here. Grew up, it's me, my father, my mother, my brother, and my sister. And growing up, my father, he comes here as well. He was an alcoholic growing up, but he got clean and sober, and then he started coming to church, and then he got saved. Probably when I was like 8 or something. I don't remember like the exact age, but I remember my parents like bringing me to church when I was like around that age, and I feel like I always believed in God when I was a kid, but I didn't really like. I just didn't really think of it like as anything. I just was like, oh, are doing it, so I'll go. But as they got a little older, we started going to like a different church, and it was kind of like one of those like they're like crazy churches, and I wasn't really into it, and they used to make us go a lot, but I wasn't really into it. So I kind of made me like, all right, I don't want to go to church that much anymore. But yeah, I grew up in that, and then growing up, I played ice hockey, and that was actually a big part of like where I started to go downhill. But I played ice hockey. I played competitive. I played in a bunch of different leagues. I played in an Eastern Hockey League, like an East Coast league, and then I stopped playing there, and then I played in Brooklyn. I played over in Floyd Bennett Field. It's like all the way at the end of Bush Avenue. So that was a big part of my life, and I took it very serious, and it was something that I took more serious than anyone around, like when I was playing. And like as I was growing up, I kind of had an attitude problem. I'd get in trouble in school and stuff, but that's just like normal. Like me and my are just always getting in trouble. But playing hockey, I mean, I got to take out a lot of frustration. I was very serious with it. I wanted to go to the NHL one day. And then, like, right after, like, 7th or 8th grade, I mean, I just saw it going downhill, because that's when, like, a lot of my friends started to, like, drink and smoke and party and all that. I mean, the first time I did drugs, I was probably, like, 12 years old. The first time I was drinking, I was, like, around the same age, like, 10, 11 years old. But right after, like middle school, I just saw it going downhill. I was like, all right, this isn't going to go anywhere. Like, and then my brother, he moved out when I was entering high school, and I was already, like, doing like smoking weed and, like, just drinking a lot. And then he left, and then my sister started getting into some stuff, and it affected me, like, it affected me a lot, honestly. I always loved my sister. I really do. Um, she she's actually here tonight, which actually makes me like very happy to see. But we both started getting into stupid stuff, man. Like just stupid stuff. We didn't think anything of it, you know. But I had to pay a lot of. In high school. I had a lot of that thrown in my face, and I used it as an excuse to get deeper into my drug addiction. And I said, all right, no one's gonna leave me about this. Like, I'm done. I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna do what I want, and I don't have to listen to any rules because I don't have to, and because I say I don't have to. From here, I just became this kid who I was doing sports. I was on the wrestling team, and then I just became this partier, and everyone thought I was like crazy. I always had to do the most in the room. Like, if there was drinking, I had to drink the most. If there was drugs, I had to do the most. And growing up, so I pretty much had the same friend group, but when they didn't want to, like, you know, when they all thought I was kind of going cuckoo as well, I started hanging out with some other kids, and I started like getting into like psychedelic drugs, and I was doing them like every other day, and it messed my head up a lot. I had many different phases in high school. I was like I said, my freshman year, I just was like this person who went from the sports person to just drinking and doing whatever I wanted. And then sophomore year, I rebelled. Like, I was getting in trouble in school. I was suspended from school like almost every other week. That's when I started taking pills. I started taking Xanax, and I got the Xanax. It really did a number on me. Then junior year, I started selling drugs, doing drugs, just selling drugs just to have money to do drugs. I got very deep into that though. It actually was really bad. I was selling pounds of weed. I was selling thousands of pills. I had a friend, and we were, you know, partners, what do you want to call it? And he ended up robbing me for thousands of dollars, and I had no one to help me, and that's when my family came in, and I was like, Mom, like, what I'm gonna do? Like, I owe this person money. Like, it's serious. It's not good. She gave me the money, but it only led to me getting deeper into drugs. So I started stealing from my parents, taking whatever I saw on the table, or taking even jewelry out of my mom's jewelry box and selling it. My senior year, by the time I was a senior in high school, I was completely off the wall. I actually got arrested the year previous in school. I had an episode. I was high on X, and I threw a chair in the principal's office. I got arrested, and then the next year, I'm still doing what I'm doing, and then I got arrested. I had I don't remember what I had. I had like a pill container with a bunch of pills in it, and then I got arrested for that. So that kind of scared me, honestly. I didn't want to keep going down that path. Like, I didn't want to get arrested again. So I stopped dealing, but I didn't stop using. I got kicked out of my high school my junior year, but my senior year, they kicked me out in the middle of my senior year and had me on a half-day schedule, so I would literally only go to school for like 3 hours, and then I'd go home. But as I was getting close to graduating, I thought it would be like a good idea to like drink a amount of alcohol and pop these pills before I go to school. And I ended up getting kicked out of school on the second to last week of school ending. So I got kicked out, but they still let me walk the stage. I don't know why, but they still let me walk. After that, I went to rehab, not because I wanted to, but because a really close friend of mine, who actually I grew up with, he was, like I said, I had the same friends, like growing up, but when I started going off, they kind of like were like, all right, you're crazy. But my friend told me, he was like, if you don't go get help, I can't be in your life anymore. I can't see this happen to the people that I love anymore. So I considered it, and I went, and I feel like I learned a lot. I was 19 years old. No, I actually turned 19 in rehab. I feel like I learned a lot from it. Like looking at all those other people, I was like, man, I'm only 19. I don't want to, I don't want to be like these people in here. So I got home. I stayed for like a month, and then I was smoking weed. But I got really depressed after that. Like I was like super depressed. I was on probation too. I was trying to find out all these ways to make it so I could have some type of high. So my probation officer was not like going for me smoking weed, or like I was trying to get prescribed pills, like so I would feel like some type of high. But it just, I don't know, I guess that phase of depression, I don't think it ever phased out, but I started working with my dad actually like 8 months after I graduated high school. So that winter, the next year after, I started working with my dad. And, it kept my mind going. I was working. It was good, but I was still using drugs like crazy. He could tell you, like, I used to come into work high and be like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're whacked out right now. But as time got on, it became more like I was functional. I was able to be functional and do it. So fast forward a bit. My 21st birthday comes, and then like 2 months after that, I was doing good actually around that time, well, good, but I decided to buy a $55,000 and that's probably the worst thing I ever did, but so I bought a BMW, and it was a really nice car. I miss it. But yeah, actually I started working on the weekends too. I picked up another job. I was working with my neighbor on a boat, so I was making good money. And then that year is when COVID kicked off, and COVID kicked off, and my friend kicked out of his house, and he started living in motel rooms. And let me tell you, like, that's when it starts to go all downhill again, like, horrible. So I'm making all this money sitting at home, doing whatever I want, and living in motel rooms with my friend. And that was the first time, like I was in Molly, and they gave me Molly, and I was taking Molly literally anytime I came down. Like I was high on Molly for probably a month, like a month and a half, until I went back to work, eating it like it was candy. I was eating it like crazy. My brain like couldn't handle it. and I started talking to this girl, and it messed up. And then when that got all messed up, I went back to I can't do Molly anymore, so I gotta take downers again. So I started taking downers, and I was eating at least like 10 blues a day. Like I tried snorting them. I didn't really like that, but I was eating at least 10 of those a day. I was spending all my money on drugs. 2020. I was depressed, man. Like I was done. That was it. Like the car was cool, but I wasn't even happy. I was just like, this is pointless. So one night I was high by myself, and I was actually crying. And I went home, and I wanted to talk with my mom, and she mentioned for me to come back to church. So I was like, you know what? Like, I might as well try something at this point, because this is chaos. Started going back to church, but after church I would go and get high or even show up to church high. But I was still doing what I wanted. But then like something happened with my car actually, and a bill came in that I just brought to the shop, and I was like, oh, I'll pay it when it comes in. And I looked at the bill, and I was like, wait, I didn't check my bank account all summer. And going into that summer, I had well over 12 grand, 13 grand in my bank account. I was making $900 a week. The end of that summer, this happened in August, I literally had like $1,000 in my bank account and all my money. So I had to get rid of the car. That's it. I wasn't cool anymore. So then it became a problem, but I still wanted to get high. So I stopped buying blues, and I started buying, and that stuff makes me crazy. It'd make anyone crazy, but that stuff made me crazy. I'd flip out on it. I'd have crazy mood swings. I'd wake up the next 3 days feeling it from the day that I didn't take it. So I was coming to church, like I said, getting high. My friend, he called me one morning, and it was too early though. What is he doing calling me this early? But I woke up later, and I called him back, and I was like, what's up? He was like, yo, I needed you to pick me up this morning. I got arrested last night. And I was like, it's normal. He was getting arrested like every other week at that time. He told me, I don't remember because I was really high, but he told me he got arrested and in his car, and they didn't do anything about it. And I was like, what? I was like, that doesn't even make sense. I thought I was tripping, but I talked to him, and then when I talked to him, I was like, I gotta change my life. Like, I gotta do something. Like, you gotta come to, I told him, I was like, you gotta come to church with me tonight. I was like, I'm going to church tonight. You should come. And he was like, I don't know about that. And I was like, okay. But I decided that night that I was going to start taking my life serious. So that night, but of course I swallowed a bunch of pills before I walked into the church. I walked into church. I remember Lloyd was doing like the altar call or whatever. He was praying for people to, receive the Lord. And then I had nothing. Like, I remember I went outside in the parking lot, fighting with myself. I was like, no, I just got to do it. So then after church, I went up. I prayed with Pastor Lloyd. I went with my mom. And honestly, it was a complete. I was still doing drugs after that. But a week after, I was like, all right, let me stop doing all this. And I just stopped. I didn't go back to it. I never went back to it. It's all God. He did all that work in my life. He had to bring me through a lot of hard places, but he got me now. So, and I'm just so thankful because the Lord has changed my life. He's given me my beautiful wife. I've been saved about 2 years now. He's done so much work in my life. He's given me hope. He's just given me hope. And I haven't even read. This is one of the, I don't even know the verse. It's Jeremiah 29:11, but I don't know how to, like, what the verse is, but it's like something with, I have plans for future or whatever it is. Like, I have hope for you, and he gave me hope, and I felt hopeless. I was hopeless. So I cling on to that one because I'm just hopeless without God. And I hope that was I hope that was good, guys. That's my story. So